Welcome to Get to the Hook, or should I say, welcome to summer.
A little early.
A little early. I know you're thinking, wait, it's only March. Why are they talking about summer? Because if you're going to get ready for summer music festivals, this is the time you start mapping it out. You got to get your vacation days. You got to get your tickets. You got to get your plane tickets, all kinds of festivals. And there's one in particular we're going to talk about that is going on this summer.
It's gone a little viral.
It is just epic on a lot of different levels. Some good, some not so good. And then we're also going to talk about some of the best festivals that you can't see because they happened in the past. But man, I got to give a shout out to Questlove.
And DJ Soul Sister. He was reposting her post.
Right. They posted some incredible shows that we're going to go through, and we're going to make
you can choose one.
Decision.
Only one.
I don't get the only choose one. Why not? You can make it 5 and it would still be hard, but
yeah.
Can we do 3?
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But but first, we got to talk about the show that is going down this summer, and everyone of a certain age will at least be interested to see how it plays out, or they'll be interested in actually going.
Yeah, it is the Summer of '99 festival. It's happening at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin. And they released a poster for it, kind of like Coachella, where it's got like the headliner really big and then like the support acts under it. It's a 2-day festival, July 18th and 19th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. And the lineup's gone a little viral from either people really, really excited about this or people enjoying making fun of the lineup.
So we're going to go through the lineup here in a second if you haven't heard about it, but this is a classic. Imagine it is the summer of '99, and you would have no issue with any of these bands in the summer of '99. I don't care.
But I think if you had no issue with them in the summer of '99, you still have no issue. That's why this is going to be a big, successful festival. If you think it's crap now, you probably thought it was crap in 1999. This is a conversation we've been needing to have on this show.
Okay.
The two most maligned artists of the last 30 years. You know who they are. For music
I know
snobs, they are a punchline.
Yeah, it's easily, even if we weren't discussing this festival just in a vacuum and someone walked up and asked me that, I would say Nickelback and Creed.
Of course.
Right.
And surprise, surprise, they are the headliners of this festival. It's almost like
they're leaning into it.
It's like they're kind of.
They're acknowledging. They're like, we know you guys have been making fun of us for 25 years, but guess what? We're going to do this festival, and we're going to sell it out.
Because they also know people have been making fun of them, but also people have been buying and streaming their music for 25 years. They sold a lot of records, and they have some diehard fans. Okay, let's start with the Saturday lineup. Nickelback is Friday. The Friday lineup, July 18th. Nickelback is the headliner. I'm going to do it to you. This is How You Remind Me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story.
Eric thought he was going to get me. He thought I was going to start bobbing my head. I was going to play air guitar. And nope, didn't do it.
That song, by the way, I believe is still the most played song on radio in the 21st century. It was a huge song. Lots of people loved it. A lot of people loved it in 2000, 2001, 2002. Don't like to admit to it now. But the song was massive, and someone was listening to it.
Obviously, and if it's the most played song in the 21st century, they're continually playing it on the radio somewhere.
Nickelback's greatest hits is on the Billboard 200 chart every week. People love Nickelback. They do.
Are they doing it out of, is it like a joke?
No, they genuinely love them. That kind of music was very popular, and the people who liked it then still like it now. Because that's the thing. Nickelback, and this hurts me to say this, is classic rock at this point.
Yes.
It is. It's almost 30 years ago. Classic rock fans don't like change. They don't like new things. They like listening to what they've listened to. We grew up with people who listened to the same Led Zeppelin songs over and over and over their entire lives.
This is true.
They still listen to those same songs.
To this very day.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You like what you like.
Sure.
But Nickelback was...
because those Led Zeppelin fans aren't opening the door at all to... those are the people who are mocking Nickelback.
Yes. And Nickelback fans are the people mocking like Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Like, that's not music.
So everybody's always pointing a finger at someone else.
Somebody. I honestly, I don't.
So is the deal with Nickelback and Creed, we'll get to the rest of the lineup in a second, but is the deal is it really a very vocal minority that is. So
The-
do the majority of music fans of that era actually love Nickelback and Creed, and it's just the people who mock them are just louder?
Yeah, and it's easy to just pile in on the joke. And it's very earnest rock. Nickelback also, their song Photograph is almost exactly how you remind me. Have you ever heard the
Yes.
mashup where somebody plays them together and they are almost literally the exact same song? So music snobs, people who loved Radiohead then and like more obscure bands were like, listen to this crap people like.
Right.
But a lot of people liked it. And How You Remind Me, objectively, is a really catchy song. And it's also, I love that they're so Canadian when he's like, it's not like you to say sorry. The thing that, I'll make the jokes about him because it's just kind of funny, but I don't know.
You didn't
I'm
hate
not
him.
I'm not a huge Nickelback fan because Chad Kroeger has that very earnest, kind of strained vocal.
Right.
It's the same reason I didn't like Michael Bolton when I was in high school. Like,
How dare you?
nothing against them, but just that kind of like really. Although I like Pearl
Who would
Jam
be
and Bruce
more
Springsteen.
offended by that? Michael Bolton, that you're comparing him to Nickelback, or Nickelback, who you
Michael
comparing
Bolton
him to
was
Michael
the
Bolton?
Nickelback before Nickelback. He's the one that everybody made fun of. Office Space. The whole movie
true.
is a joke about how awful Michael Bolton is.
This is true.
A thing that kind of made me come around on Nickelback, at least, so it's Chad Kroeger, not Chad Kroeger. And this is partly why I was like, that guy's all right.
You didn't
just-
want to be confused with the grocery stores?
No, a couple of years ago, I saw an interview with him, and he's like, the interviewer was like, so your name is actually Chad Kroeger. It's spelled Kroeger, so everybody always thought it's Chad Kroeger.
Right.
I always thought that's what it was. And he goes, no, it is Kroeger. That's how it's pronounced. He goes, but when I started, when we got big and we're doing interviews, interviewers would say Chad Kroeger, and I just was like too polite to correct them because he's Canadian. He's a nice guy.
Right. And
So he never corrected it. He just like let them say it. And a lot of people do that. And he's just nice Canadian dude that let us say his name wrong for 20 plus years. I was like, okay, you seem like an all right guy.
All right. I'll let that go. So let's get to the rest of the lineup because.
Oh, okay. For Friday, Nickelback live. We're going to talk about live a little bit more in a second after we talk about this festival because there's a funny story about live right now. Daughtry, Chris Daughtry's band after he won.
They're really front loading here.
They are.
If you ask
Tonic?
me, but
Remember Tonic did the song?
I remember
If you
Tonic.
could only see.
Sure.
Our Lady Peace and Lit, who had the song My Own Worst Enemy. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, I'm not doing that any justice. But yeah, so it's that era of late 90s, early 2000s earnest rock bands.
There's a lot of.
These are not alt rock bands. They're not college rock. They're not Brit rock. They are just what you think they are.
A lot of those guys on that first night, a lot of their songs sound very like I'm just thinking about
It's a
live.
similar
I'm thinking
energy.
about Tonic. Yes, similar energy. Okay, so Friday night seems it's going to be hard to top that. I mean, obviously,
Well,
you usually go big on Friday. You go big. Well, I don't know.
Saturday's
Depends.
got some big bands.
But you got to finish big on Sunday. So
Well, there's no Sunday. I don't.
Oh,
think.
this
I think
is
it's
the
just
2-day?
Friday and Saturday. Yeah.
oh, just a 2-day. All right,
I don't know
well,
who would have
that's
been the
easy.
headliner on the third day. I don't. Michael Bolton, I guess. Saturday, the headliner is Creed, and I'm gonna do it to you. This is higher.
It is
Very
the
earnest.
same energy. It's the same
Yep.
freaking song. And I don't know why. I mean, I was never, even at the time, Creed just
Oh,
wasn't
too cool
on
for
my-
that.
No, it wasn't. And I wasn't a hater on them. And I really didn't even understand why people were hating on them so much because I didn't check for them at all
Right.
to even know why people
They were
hating
huge.
on them. But it's I just hear that and it's the same thing.
It's the
It's the
same
same thing.
But that's any music scene. It's the same thing. Country music, it's the same thing. Rap, it's the same thing. Any genre you like, you can find 10 examples that are basically the same thing.
You're right. I mean, there are a bunch of
Especially if you're not into that kind of music, it will all just sound the same to you.
And I'm sure there are a bunch of 80s rock bands that there are songs that I would sing along to and people
Yeah.
would go like, those are all the same. And they'd probably have a point.
Yeah, if you're like playing The Smiths and The Cure and U2 and Depeche Mode and all those bands, to me they're very distinct. But if you're not a fan of that, it just all sounds the same.
Yeah.
But so Creed
All right, so Creed headlining.
Creed is headlining Saturday along with Three Doors Down,
Same.
who played Trump's first inauguration in 2017. Seven Dust was a little bit heavier to me than the other bands. Wolfgang Van Halen, his band Mammoth WVH, is playing. Hinder, who had the song Lips of an Angel in the mid-2000s, kind of like it was like a love ballad, but it was also angsty, and he was growling because that was kind of the thing. It's like, I love you, but I'm still an angry macho dude. That's a lot of what this music is. One, I guess, kind of fits in Vertical Horizon. They did the song Everything You Want. He's everything you want, everything you need. I'm not going to try and sing it. It was number one hit in 2000.
Really?
They were a little bit more on the poppy side. They were
Is
closer to
everything
like
you want?
Third Eye Blind to me than Creed, but and
Oh, yeah, I do
and
remember that
Fuel,
song. Okay.
Fuel, who did the songs
Fuel, I know.
Shimmer, Hemorrhage in My Hands, Bad Day, Falls on Me, a lot of songs back then. So yeah,
Okay.
really earnest rock.
And the fact that they're and that's a big venue they're playing. And
Have you seen shows there?
I have not. It's a legend. I always wanted to. This won't be the one.
This is not going to lure you out to Wisconsin.
No, it's not going to lure me out there. Fun fact, actually, not fun fact, sad fact.
Oh.
The reason that venue is very legendary to me,
right?
It's the last place Stevie Ray Vaughan played.
And we'll be talking about him a little bit later too.
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to get talking a little later.
So yeah, we got all these. Well, first of all, Friday or Saturday, which night you going?
If I had to go,
if you were being forced to go,
if someone's forcing me to go and they're paying for my ticket because I'm not paying for one, I would go Friday night.
Okay,
I would go Friday night.
Who is the biggest draw of Nickelback, Live, Daughtry, Tonic, Our Lady Peace, and Lit? You're like, I don't want to choose any.
You know what? I'm gonna.
It's like, which finger do you want to cut off?
It's Live.
Yeah, I like Live.
It's Live. Because I liked Live before.
Yeah, they're closer to like the mid '90s. They weren't a grunge band, but they were of that '90s alt rock era. Right. So I like Live. Yeah. You like Live.
I like Live.
You know who doesn't?
I've read that Christina Ricci
loathes them.
Yeah, she's not down with it at all, even though she's had to work with the band, sort of
with their music.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like Live always seemed like at worst kind of innocuous. You know, like, they didn't really. You know, I liked them. A lot of people liked them. They were very popular in the '90s and can still tour. But they caught some strays multiple times from Christina Ricci. So her show Yellow Jackets is the third season's just come back.
Have you watched that show?
I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Is it good? Because I keep thinking I
want
to watch it.
A little bit on the second season for me. The back half, I'm like, it got a little messy for me. I haven't watched the third season yet, but I will. But so it takes place in the mid '90s with these teenage these girls who I think were a volleyball or soccer team. I forget right now. But so it's this girls' team crashes in the mountains. There's some cannibalism happens, some other maybe supernatural stuff, you don't know. And then it also flash forwards to the present, to the girls grown up. And Christina Ricci plays one of the obviously adult women.
Right.
And they use a lot of 90s music, which I do like. And they had a scene set in the 90s and in the present timeline. And they used this song, Lightning Crashes by Live. You were doing a little air drum in there.
I was. I always dug that song. I
the
thought
song
it was,
All Over You from that album. I like that song a lot.
I love the
Lakini's Juice, the second album.
I love the drumming on that song. I love the lyrics are so they paint a very vivid picture. Yeah. And kind of gross at times, but
about childbirth and death and reincarnation and all kinds of stuff. Very popular song in 1994, 95. Christina Ricci, they had to do the song on the show in multiple scenes. A scene she was in, and she hates this song. In an interview for the third season, she says, "I'm sorry, but Live was never cool. When I was in high school, like when she was actually in high school in the 90s, everyone was like, dorks all love Live." And she says when they filmed these scenes on the show, everybody loved the song. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, do I have amnesia? Like, no, this sucks. And what's funny is she's saying this, she's with her co-star, Melanie Linsky, who goes, "I love that song." And Christina Ricci goes, "No, you don't." Or your opinion's wrong, ma'am.
Or she does, and she was a dork. I think that's what Christina Ricci just found out, is that the people she worked with were probably, she would have called them dorks in high school.
And Christina Ricci was definitely not a dork in high school because she was already famous at that point. She was a child star. She had done. She was Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family movies back then. She had done. Was she in Mermaids with Cher? I think she was.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder.
Yes.
No, I might be misremembering that. But anyway, Christina Ricci was not just a big child star, but she was a cool child star. Right. I mean, anybody that plays Wednesday Addams, like Jenna Ortega now, it's the same thing. You're the the weird cool girl.
Right.
And she was that. And
Well,
apparently too cool for live.
well, Christina Ricci, I will tell you, you should give live another try.
I don't think it's
I-
going to work. I say
it a
they are clearly one of the last wave of bands to come up before Google. Because what a stupid name for a band.
Yeah, it doesn't work out on a
How would
Google
you,
search.
if you were Googling them to find out when they were touring, what do you search? Live concert? Live music? Live
You
tour?
can't even say live band.
No, live, nothing.
You'd have to say live 90s rock band.
And even
then-
then,
and
you'll
then-
find every
yeah.
90s rock band playing live. It's a bad
Then you end up
name.
getting Nickelback.
Yeah, then you get that. Their original name was Public Affection. They should have kept that. Because at least you could search that easier than
Sure, but
live concert, live tour, live music.
clearly they weren't thinking about Google searches.
They weren't thinking that
when
far
they
ahead.
named the band. But
So live, yeah, playing after Nickelback. You know, I get the jokes about it, and also I think maybe it's one of those cases where the fans put off other people because they love them so much and they get
Right.
so defensive about it, and you're like, okay, it's not that serious. But you know, I honestly I try not to be a music snob. If you love Nickelback and you love Creed and you love those songs and they bring you joy in this world, then more power to you.
I would not
Go see your bands,
Yes, do exactly. Do you? I
sing along
honestly-
and pump your fist
I
and have a
agree
good
with you.
time.
I'm not that guy. I'm not going to make fun of someone for going to see whatever band.
I mean, I
unless-
might a little bit
unless
if I
you're-
know them.
Unless you're my friend.
Yeah.
If you're my friend, oh, I'm going to ride you mercilessly that you are going to see it. Do I have any friends that would go see Creed?
Oh, I definitely do.
I probably do, but they've stayed in the closet.
The
I don't
Creed
think-
closet.
Yeah, they're not. They won't let me know because they know I'm not friendly that way.
But yeah, again, they sold tens of millions of albums, and those didn't just go nowhere.
You
people bought
can't
those.
argue with the numbers. There are people who
true.
love it.
And there still are headlining festivals in 2025, so good for them.
You going to see any? Do you have any festivals that you?
Not
You
so, I have
definitely
not
going to
yet
see?
this summer. Nothing definitely booked yet.
The only one I know I'm going to is locally here. It's called the Beach Life Festival.
Who's
They've
playing?
got Lenny Kravitz
Okay.
headlining Friday night.
Ooh.
No, this is all.
That's the thing. When these festivals are designed for
I
like people our
remember
age,
seeing-
and just as the headliner, and it's like we could list the other artists, but you won't remember anyway.
No, exactly.
Just
No,
show up
and
and
I
have a good time.
remembered seeing it, and I went like, "Oh, this year is like one of the best lineups they've had in a while." So it's Lenny Kravitz headlining Friday,
Love Lenny.
Sublime headlining Saturday.
Oh, with Bradley Noel's son singing now, who sounds just like him.
Yep, and Alanis Morissette on Sunday.
I saw her last year. She
How
was
was
great. She was
Yeah.
great.
By the way, under Sublime is the Pretenders and Cake, and Susanna Hoffs, Skip Marley.
The small tier bands are Pretenders and Cake and there you go.
Under Lenny, it's Train.
Okay.
Outlaw-
Train should be on the Nickelback and Creed lineup. They're not quite as hard as them, but
But also on Friday, you get Diggable Planets.
oh, I saw them
Yeah.
last year too, actually,
Uh-huh.
at Questlove's Roots Picnic at the bowl.
Right, that's the show you went to and didn't tell me about, and then I told me all about it after. And I was
Somebody
like,
else
"Hell."
bought the tickets and invited me, so I didn't
Uh-huh.
have a chance. I'm going this year too. It's the class of '95. Redman and Method Man are going to be there, and I think Lil Kim's
Oh.
performing. So
Well, all right.
yeah,
Oh, see if we can go this way.
you want to come?
Also, Jackson Brown on
Oh, cool.
Sunday. The Beach Boys, Marcus King, Big Head Todd and the Monsters. Wow.
I remember them.
hmm Mount Joy also.
But now, if you could go to any festival in the
So
past,
that's the only one that I know that I'm going to this year. Hopefully, you can work in some others. But
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
yes.
if we're time travel festival going. So
Oh, man.
DJ Soul Sister is a good follow on social media if you love music, especially if you love old school funk and R&B and hip hop. She posts the coolest stuff. And so Questlove, who hosts the Roots Picnic and has these big festivals himself, reposted some just flyers from old shows. Some were festivals, some were just like 2 or 3 artists, like a normal concert. And it was like, which one do you go to?
The fun thing about this was one part of it was just looking at the art of how they put together
Yeah.
the bill for all these shows.
So different than now. I feel like
Yeah.
with this like Summer of '99 festival, like I said, the poster for it looks just like Coachella. That's what everybody does now. It's the days and it's like
Yeah.
left and right, and you got the headliner really big, and then
These were different because it was just one night, right?
Yeah.
These shows were one night with all these different acts, or one day with all these different acts. And the post said you got to choose one. I think that's unreasonable. Sorry, Quest. Sorry, DJ Soul Sister. That's unreasonable. Can't expect that. of
it's
anyone.
hard to
But-
pick just one of these.
But here's the type of talent we're dealing with. We're Marvin Gaye, James Brown, the Jackson 5, Herbie Hancock, the Gap Band, George Benson, Barry White, Rufus and Shaka Khan, Sly and the Family Stone, Parliament Funkadelic, Grace Jones, Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, on and on and on. And I didn't realize how many great concerts I missed being too young.
I know.
Because I looked at all these shows and I was like, if I were just 5 years older, I would have gone to all of these shows.
Right.
But
you got some good shows in the 80s, though.
I got good ones. I don't feel like I got anything this epic.
These are pretty epic.
Because when I was growing up, like in high school, there weren't a lot of like festivals I went to. I went to like one-off. I went to big concerts, but they were like one-off.
So I remember when Lollapalooza came out, it was such a big deal because festivals weren't a thing so much at that point, in the early 90s. And then it became everything. And then you had Coachella, and then they brought back, Woodstock with varying results with that.
Success. Yes.
So some of these, this one, the world's greatest funk festival with Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy's Rubber Band, Rick James, the Bar-Kays, the Gap Band, the Brides of Funkenstein, and I love that name. It was a Parliament offshoot.
It's great, but I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's say
because again, I would go to all of these to be clear. To be
yes,
really
I would
clear about
absolutely go to all of them. But if you have to choose, are we going with the one choice rule, or
I'm going to try and hold you to one and see what we can do.
All right, I'll see if I can do one. All right, so I'm passing on that one. No offense to the Parliament.
Although seeing Parliament Funkadelic in the '70s when they used to have the spaceship land on the stage and
it was
Bootsy Collins and George Clinton like in a diaper, I think he was doing at that time, like all the weird visuals. That would be something to see.
Yes. All right. Next up, this is the tough one because I know you want to just say this is the one I'm going to, but
this is not no.
But Prince headlining, and then Zap featuring Roger.
Yep.
And The Time.
I mean, of course I would go to that show, but that is not the one I'm going to pick from this line.
Yeah.
And there's
me either.
Well, sort of an asterisk on that, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
Post Labor Day spectacular with the Jacksons, starring Michael Jackson
and these were
Lattisaw.
All either late 70s or early 80s, right?
Yeah, they don't have the years on all of these, but you can tell.
Right.
I'm gonna pass on that one. I think
the Jacksons. I like that it says the Jacksons starring Michael Jackson. So even at that point, it was already happening.
Yeah, I think this might have been after Off the Wall, but before Thriller. Is what it looks like.
Yeah. Sorry, Stacey Lattisaw.
Probably was it Destiny was the Jacksons album in like '81.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's probably that tour.
I'm gonna pass on that too.
Yeah.
Just to let you know the kind of talent that we're dealing with here. Then another Parliament Funkadelic show, but this one you get Sly and the Family Stone. You also get Bootsy Collins, Zap,
and the Sweat Band.
A
smaller funk band from that era.
Again,
the next one I think is gonna be my choice.
This
is the one I think I'm going to.
This is
historic.
Okay. Yeah. If you could go on one night and see Rick James and Prince
opening the last time he opened for anybody. The
last time he opened.
And do you know the stories behind this? The Fire It Up tour, when Rick James was headlining in '80-'81, Prince was coming off his Dirty Mind album there.
By the way,
a self-titled album.
And you could have Dave Chappelle open doing some comedy.
There you go.
Dave
doing both of them.
Doing his impersonation.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy there. Things turned so sour for them. Prince learned how to be a performer from Rick James by watching him. And then Prince became Prince on that tour, and Rick James got a little jealous and was like, "You're stealing my stuff." And Prince would clearly steal some of Rick James's stage presence.
Right.
And then Rick would look like he was ripping off Prince when he got on stage. He's like, "That was my thing."
And that was mine first. Yeah.
And the thing that really turned them, because they had sort of an admiration and a rivalry for their whole lives. Rick says there was one time Rick's mom was there and Prince wouldn't take a picture with her. And he's like, "Who do you think you are?" And I'm sure Prince, Rick James was doing cocaine's a hell of a drug. And I think Prince wanted no part of that. But one of the funniest things that happened, and one of my favorite anecdotes in music, I don't know if I've said on this show before. So Tina Marie, who was, an incredible bassist and singer and performer,
and Rick James,
and worked with Rick James a lot.
Acolyte.
She told this story that Prince had his own synthesizer with his own pre-programmed settings and all of this stuff, like that unique 80s synth sound that Prince had. And Rick James wanted that sound. After the tour was over, Either Prince left the synthesizer somewhere or Rick just took it. But Rick James wound up taking Prince's synthesizer and recorded his album Street Songs featuring Super Freak. The album goes platinum.
Using Prince's
Yes,
keyboard.
his purloined synthesizer. That's why it sounds the way it does, that whole album. Once the album comes out, becomes a massive, massive hit. Super Freak becomes his most iconic song. He sent the synthesizer back to Prince with a thank you note. Prince never knew that he took it.
Wow. Wow, really?
Like,
I did not know that.
It's funny, it's petty, and a lot of good music came out of it. Everything about that is great.
By the way, one of the things that you can't see it on all of the bills, but when you see the ticket price,
Oh, that's going to break your heart.
$7.50.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to get premium seating, $8.50
For Prince and Rick
to
James.
see Prince and Rick James. Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
that's on my. That's a maybe.
I think that just as a Prince fan, that tour is so legendary and historic and significant to his development. I would pick that one just to get to see that.
Okay. All right. I
But
can see that.
But that's
So
I'm
here's
gonna-
where
that
it
doesn't
really
count.
gets hard for me because there was, and I do remember these commercials when I was a kid and I was too young to go see the shows myself, but the Superfest
Yeah.
tours presented by Budweiser. These shows were amazing. So
Yeah.
here's one of the Superfest lineups. The OJs, Stephanie Mills, Peebo Bryson, Mace featuring Frankie Beverly, and Millie Jackson.
That's pretty good.
That's good, but I'm going to pass on that one.
Because there's another Superfest that they posted.
Yes, there's another Superfest with Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, and Friends, featuring Patty Austin, James Ingram, Ashford and Simpson,
Maze
Mace.
and Frankie Beverly really got around.
They're on everything. Cool and the Gang and Sister Sledge.
That might be
This
my
might
non-Prince choice.
Be the one.
That's-
That would be hard to turn down. So that's a strong maybe.
Yeah.
And then they had another one.
Oh, but the other Superfest.
Gladys Knight and the Gladys Knight and the Four Tops. Actually, Gladys Knight and the Tops. And the Pips.
The Tips.
Gladys
All right,
Knight and the
Grandpa.
Tips.
Maze and Frankie Beverly were on this
I
one.
confused the Four Tops and the Tips. Anyway, so
I don't know how they got Maze and Frankie Beverly, but there they were.
Luther Vandross, Patti LaBelle, Stephanie Mills. Yes,
That's some vocal
Mason.
power. Plus, was it the Temptations, the Gap Band, Atlantic Star, the Whispers? I mean,
Ooh, you're speaking my language.
That's some good stuff.
But okay, so far I'm at either the Superfest with Stevie or
Superfest with Stevie is my
or
number one.
Prince.
Not counting Prince.
Stevie Wonder World Tour in '81.
Of course, just Stevie, yeah.
I would, but I'm not picking it on this list because I can get Stevie with Quincy and everybody else, so
Right.
I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Music Sound Festival
76.
76. Oh, I love this lineup.
Barry White headlining.
With Love Unlimited and the Love Unlimited Orchestra.
Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. Sly and the Family Stone. I love this.
Yeah.
Theodore Pendergrass.
I love it
and
says
the Blue
Theodore
Notes.
Pendergrass. You know Teddy Pendergrass
know that,
is one
Teddy.
of my favorites.
You know that's Teddy.
Yeah.
Eddie Kendricks, Bloodstone, and Sun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sun's like
Sun.
a funk group. I think they had a song called "Flick My Bick." was their funk?
I wonder what they meant there. That is a really good one too. That was at Arrowhead Stadium, by the way.
I might pick that one because I love Teddy Pendergrass so much, and to get to see him live would be incredible.
With Barry White.
I'm sorry, Theodore Pendergrass.
And Shaka. Oh boy, that's a tough one. Grace Jones, Lover,
Yeah, no, she's not top.
but
one.
it's not my jam for this grouping here. By the way, I met Grace Jones once. Did I tell you that?
Did you know?
Yeah.
What?
Met her while I was literally snorkeling in Jamaica, and this woman was snorkeling next to me. It was like sunset. I turned. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" We talked and everything, and she said her name's Grace. Didn't think anything of it. And then we got out of the water at the same time, and I was like, "Wait a second, you're Grace Jones. You're not just Grace. You're
So
Grace Jones."
You're in Jamaica. You get out of snorkeling. Grace Jones is there. That's the opening of a Bond movie. That's exactly what that is.
And
she was
actually-
in View to a Kill.
Yes, and actually, it happened while we were at GoldenEye Resort,
Well, there you go.
where
there
the
you
James
go.
Bond. Anyway,
Okay.
that's my fun Grace Jones.
That is a fun
anecdote.
story.
Again, we get another one,
Barry White.
but this is Barry White and Bill Summers.
No.
Nah, sorry, not going there. This is tough.
Yeah.
James Brown with the Dramatics. I don't care whoever else is on the bill. It's James Brown.
Also, Clay Tyson, Bobby Bird, and Lynn Collins, who were all worked with James Brown. To see James Brown live in the 70s,
That's the
particularly,
part
would
that
be
makes that one tough for me.
that's hard not to pick.
And
I'm just scrolling through these.
then Marvin Gaye with
Yeah.
special guest Melba Moore, but it's Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, George
I'm
Benson,
gonna pass on George and Tower of Power. I'm gonna pass on George and Wild Cherry.
and Average White Band,
And
who
Average
had the
White
number
Band.
one song when I was born, actually.
Oh,
Cut to
really?
Pieces is my birth song.
Huh.
The Aquarius Theater, I don't know where this is.
I don't either. But the Shy Lights, the Dramatics, Bobby Bird. Yeah, it's nice, but no.
Good 70s R&B. But
Yes. Gap Band and Zap, Roger, Grandmaster. No.
OJ's a Cool in the Gang.
Nope. Herbie Hancock. Nope.
Gil Scott-Heron, yeah. I think,
It's Rick. It's
Rick and Prince is my number one.
Rick and Prince, James Brown, or
Music Sound Festival, I'm going with Barry White, Rufus, Sly and the Family Stone, Teddy Pendergrass, Eddie Kendricks. I like that one. Oh, wait, no. I'm scrolling back through. I'm like, Superfest. Oh, wait, crap. No. Stevie Wonder with Quincy
with
Jones, Ashford and
Stevie and
Simpson,
Quincy.
Sister Sledge, Cool in the Gang. Yeah. And then let's just throw in for fun a last one, different kind of music.
I feel like I'm being.
You're going to pick this one, actually. I know. Because the Police, their official Instagram account, the
Okay.
band with Sting, still have an Instagram account. And they posted a bill from a February 25th, 1984 show with the Police headlining with Bryan Adams right as his
As he's taken off with
Reckless album was
Yeah.
coming out. And Stevie Ray Vaughan in Double Trouble.
Ooh.
And just to
People
sweeten
only
the pot on
knew.
this, did you notice where it was?
In Hawaii.
In
yeah.
Hawaii at
This is
Aloha
at the
Stadium.
Aloha
So you're
Stadium.
seeing Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Police and Bryan Adams.
Oh,
And
boy.
this is pre Everything I Do It For You, Bryan Adams. Everything I Do it For You. So
Right.
you're not going to get all
Bryan
that
Adams
stuff.
was still kind of
This is
rocking.
still cuts like a knife and
Yeah.
straight to the heart.
Still kind of rocking, and
straight from the
Stevie
heart.
Ray Vaughan is with Stevie Ray Vaughan
And the Police.
and the Police.
The first time around.
This is the synchronous. This is their final tour.
Yeah, probably one of their last shows.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Oh yeah.
But
All of the
here's
above.
thing. Here's the thing. I've seen the Police, so it's easier for me to say I can pass on it because I have actually seen the Police. I've seen Stevie Ray Vaughan. I can say that I'll pass on that. I've never seen James Brown.
Have you ever seen Bryan Adams? Come on now.
I've never seen it. I'm good.
Rude.
I haven't seen to see Stevie and Quincy and everybody else on that bill. It's either that or James Brown. And I feel like I'm being really offensive to Prince
No, go ahead, do your thing.
because
I'm just going to judge you quietly, but no, go ahead.
I think I'm going. I think I'm going James Brown.
All right.
I got to.
Hardest
I
working
got to
man in
see The
show business.
Godfather. I got to see The
Yeah,
Godfather.
I wish I could have seen James Brown. And even if I could have, like in the 90s or 2000s, and the man, put on a show until the end,
Yeah.
but to see James Brown in the 70s, I think even more like the 60s, he was younger, but the 70s is when you got
70s, and
the
he
Payback and Say It Loud and Black and I'm Proud and all
he
those
had
songs.
the
Well, that was
weight
60s,
of all that catalog with him. Like, oh,
but he was still pumping out new songs and still relevant and still at the top
yeah.
of his form.
Apologies to Prince. Apologies to Marvin Gaye, Stevie,
I mean, Prince would pick James
George
Brown.
Benson.
Prince loved James Brown.
Oh,
He'd pick
this is awful. I feel like I'm gonna be sick. The OJs. I love the OJs, man. Okay.
Well, if I get a time machine to go see these, I'm gonna have to make a couple stops.
All right. Until we get the time machine, that's
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Get ready for summer festival time.
Get ready. Get your tickets.
Right.
Hopefully Eric will invite me to the bowl. We'll see. We'll see you next time on Get to the Hook.